Hello, this is Steve Rowe, Executive Director. Today is Wednesday, February 10th, 2021. We have now been in our pandemic for more than 11 months. I checked the CDC's website this morning. According to the CDC COVID date tracker, there have been 26,939,515 cases of COVID in the United States. There have been 463,659 deaths from COVID in the United States. In Iowa, according to the coronavirus.org website, there have been 326,414 cases of COVID and 4,673 deaths. At Oaknoll, we have had 5 employees test positive at some point during the pandemic, and these are employees who would have worked with residents while potentially being positive for COVID. We have had 0 cases amongst our resident population. So even though we had an employee test positive, because of the PPE that they were using and the appropriate distancing and just all of the precautions that we've taken since COVID began back in March of 2020, we have had 0 positive cases within our resident population. That is something to be celebrated, and as of yesterday, with the vaccination clinic that happened, all of our independent living residents who can be vaccinated have received the vaccine. There was just one individual who, because of health reasons, could not be vaccinated, but we are at 99.8% of our residents in independent living having been vaccinated. 100% of our residents in the health center and in assisted living were vaccinated, and 89% of our employees have been vaccinated now. So all really good news for us as we move forward, and we will certainly start to consider doing some things differently in about a week. The maximum effectiveness for the vaccines, what we understand, is happens about 1 week after the second dose. So for all of our residents, you will be as protected as you can be next Tuesday, and that's when we will start to look at potentially easing some visitor restrictions, changing some things in the dining rooms or restaurants. So that's really what we're waiting for, is trying to get to that maximum effectiveness, and then we will start to look at doing some things differently. There is a slight uptick recently in Johnson County, not a huge uptick, but just over the last couple of days, the trend is back with more cases than the previous day. So that is a little bit alarming, and we will keep our eyes on that through the rest of this week and into early next week. And if it looks like we can safely move forward, we will most likely allow visitors into independent living apartments. So if you remember back several months ago, the last time that we were allowing visitors in, the visitors were screening and then going straight to independent living apartments. So no visitors were in common areas. That is what we will go to whenever it is safe for us to do that. We're also talking about dining and expanding table sizes. We've been at 4 people per table for at least a couple of months now. We will look at going to 6 residents dining at a table, and hopefully again that can start to begin next week, but we won't make that decision until we see what's happening around us in Johnson County. Some of you, I'm sure, have been curious about the governor's easing of all restrictions, which was announced late last week. And I just went back and looked at some things, trying to make sense of this. And when we went to phase 1 restrictions, which basically shut down visitation to everything. That happened in June of 2020. And At that point in time, our average daily case count in Johnson County was 2 for the most recent 2-week period. So we were averaging 2 new cases per day in June of 2020, and visitation across everything was completely shut down. Since then, there was a surge that happened in early September, and in Johnson County, our case counts got up to 147 new cases per day in early September. Things calmed down a bit, and then there was a second surge that happened in mid-November, and case counts got up to 145 new cases per day. Today, our average new case count is 27. So 13 times higher than it was back in June when everything shut down. And now the governor tells us that this pandemic is over and we can just go back to normal. All restrictions eased in restaurants, bars, everything has been pulled off of the table. That's not going to happen here. And I think most of you will appreciate that, and there's very good reasons that that's not going to happen here. We will ease up and ease restrictions slowly and thoughtfully and incrementally, and try to keep people as safe as possible, as we've done for 11 months. So that's what I can share with you today. We hope when Kim records her message next Wednesday that we're talking about the easing of those restrictions, and that really is going to depend on what's happening around us in Johnson County over the next several days. So that's where we are. Thank you for all of your patience, for all of your diligence. We did not achieve 0 positive cases of COVID with our resident population as staff members. We laid out some precautions, we set the rules, but obviously it was you who accomplished that. You were careful, you were vigilant, you did not go out and about in the community and put yourselves at risk. And for that, I thank you very, very much, and we have much reason to celebrate. Take care.